I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, June the 5th, where we saw the first signs that June live cattle futures are attempting to line up with cash, as the board was down hard on your out front live cattle contract months. But June stayed pretty tight up there because we're getting into June now, and they knows it's going to have to line up with cash, which is still quite a bit higher than what the board is showing. But let's look at the board for Monday. August live cattle down $1.17 to end the day at 102.45. Your June spot was down just 17 cents at 104.72, and that's still over a $6 basis compared to what the weighted average was on last week's fat cattle trade. August feeder cattle down 145 to end the day at 144.85, and now starting to see a little difference between your fall months, as October was down just 80 cents at 145.62. But let's look at your weighted average on last week's fat cattle trade on 87,500 head in your 5-area feeding region. Your weighted average on live steers was 110.55, up 49 cents, and we talked on our last visit how we're surprised that we saw the price actually gain ground as we hit into early June, and we've been talking about early June being the start of the wall, or climbing up the wall, and we know we've got a lot of market ready supplies coming down the pike. We've been working through them the last several weeks, but this outstanding demand that we've seen, both domestic and for export, has really helped the market. Your dress steers averaged 177.35, which was actually down 98 cents compared to the previous week's weighted average price there. But here in the Midwest here, continuing to look around, take some look at the crops and look at the conditions. Here was at St. Joe Stockyards at the cow and bull auction on Monday, and you're continuing to see big runs of cows and bulls. That sale, a typical cow and bull run would be about 250 head, and they had about 500 head on this Monday here. And nice cows. You know, St. Joe, Missouri is home of the American Angus Association headquarters. Everybody's conscious about the genetics and wanting good quality cattle. A lot of nice cows, and not poor cows, but in good flesh. But those cows are having to come to town because of the lack of pond water. There's very little hay stocks left around. Any hay that's available is too expensive to buy. And the dry conditions earlier in the spring and the dry conditions over the winter have got the producers really scared they're not going to have enough grazing to hold their whole herd, so they're really culling deep. And in that slaughter cow auction, you saw a lot of 6 years to short and solid mouth cows that were bred, likely with good quality calves in them, and just selling at pound price there. And a heck of a good cow it would take to bring 60 or better, and a lot of those bred cows bringing in the 50s. Good cows that have a lot of good years left in them, and sure nothing wrong with them, but nobody there anxious to buy any of those to go back home, and most of them just going on to slaughter. But look at your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on Beef Market Central based on the 800-pound steer. Late Monday sitting at 135.86. down $1.42 from the end of the previous week. We saw that your grains were down hard on a cash basis on Monday. It was kind of a combination between favorable crop ratings, some rain that they had across the Midwest and places over the weekend and late last week, and continued talk about tariffs as Trump tries to get things lined out on our trade deficits. But your corn was down about 10 cents on your closely traded months there. Beans down 18 to 19 cents, and wheat down 18 to 19 cents, which is a lot bigger deal because wheat's not the big price that your beans are sitting at. But September hard red winter wheat closed at 5.40 and a half. Let's look at some your auction sales that started out on Monday. Your big high volume sales. Oklahoma National Stockyards in Oklahoma City, 12,500 head, as they didn't have a sale last Monday, so kind of grouped those cattle up, but a good sale there. Compared that to the same week last year, they had 9,300 head. But on that good run of 12,500 head, quoted feeder cattle $3 to $7 higher than 2 weeks ago, which makes a lot of sense because last week, as they didn't have a sale, your cash markets gained about $3 to $7, so that makes a lot of sense. And Oklahoma City keeping right up with all your other markets. Calves were not well tested, but did say they had a higher undertone. You look at the strings of steers that National Livestock Commission had in Oklahoma City, reported there on Cattle Market Central. You see several large strings of steers, and that's just a small portion of what they had in Oklahoma City. But included in national steer strings there, you see 159 head of steers weighed 1046 at 119.50. Joplin Regional Stockyards had 10,500 head there, compared to a year ago's numbers of 9,900 head, but a good sale in Joplin. Quoted cattle there mostly steady to $5 higher. You might want to take a note that on Thursday, this Thursday, June the 7th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Joplin Regional Stockyards will hold a big video special, now known as Prime Time Livestock Video, expecting over 20,000 head on this video auction, and will be some of the first tests that we see of country sales of cattle in the edges of your major grazing areas in Kansas, Oklahoma. As you're in the four-state area there, a lot of good Missouri cattle going to be coming off fescue pastures there, and also got some southeast cattle on that sale. But don't forget, Thursday, June the 7th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm giving you plenty of time to get registered if you're not, but you can view and bid on that sale at dvauction.com or at primetimelivestock.com. Look at an individual quote on Monday. Bluegrass Stockyard South in Stanford, Kentucky had a load of 893 pound steers, bring 138. And that's your feeder flash for Tuesday.